What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today this is going to be more of a discussion in regards to the anniversary treasure map. So what you're seeing right here in terms of the footage is me reaching level 100 in the treasure map, and that doesn't happen very often. I've only reached like a level 100 on a treasure map maybe 2 or 3 times. Like, it really doesn't happen often, but you know, sometimes when I have all the boosters and I can rank really high and I've got, you know, a lot more extra free time, and surprisingly, even though I was trying to make as many videos as possible during this anniversary period, I still was able to reach a level 100 on this treasure map. So I'm just showing you guys in terms of how I was able to get through it, and you know, and different team comps and stuff like that. Mostly it is all the same, even from level 1. I didn't really change my teams all that much, but anyways, you guys are going to see how that all goes. But you know, more just about the 9th anniversary treasure map as a whole. Now, there's definitely lots of positives and negatives to this treasure map, and I know you guys in the comment section are going to, you know, leave your thoughts and opinions about it. But the big glaring positive that I have out of this treasure map is the sheer amount of rainbow chests that were available. Typically, the amount of rainbow chests that we see on every single run in this map was like what you'd see in a secret map. But they've done something a little bit different in this bonus map, and that's really where I'd say the crux of our negativity really comes from, because they introduced this new system into the anniversary where there is a new alternating pen which allows, you know, Luffy and Yamato to change their artwork. But it not only changes their artwork, it also changes the actual unit name, artwork, and ID, which are all very, very big. So it means if you have 2 copies of Luffy and Yamato, and you have one with the alternate art, one with the base artwork, it means that you can use 2 of them on 2 separate treasure map teams and 2 separate grand party teams. Now, that's kind of insane when you think about it, right? The fact that you could have, you know, 2 different Luffy Yamatos in 2 different teams in this content is quite wild. I know that some people out there were lucky enough to pull the alternate artwork of Luffy and Yamato, and they were able to use one of their Luffy Yamatos against Jack, which has the really annoying bind mechanic, and of course Luffy and Yamato as a captain completely ignore the bind altogether, which is great. Well, they don't completely ignore it, but they get around the bind pretty comfortably, and it makes a pretty big difference being able to do that, whereas a lot of people are not going to get access to do that, because you can have one for the final boss and you can have one for Jack. It does make things a lot easier for sure. But they did advertise that the alternating pens to change the artwork of Luffy and Yamato were going to be available in the treasure map, and they did say they were going to be a very rare chance. Now, they have said that it's a very rare chance, but as of the recording of this video, which is like 10 hours before the treasure map is supposed to conclude, we have not seen a single person on JP or the global side of the game post a screenshot of them dropping one of these alternating pens. And it's just insane to think that, you know, we've gone all this time throughout the treasure map and not a single player has been able to drop one. And a lot of people have had these tinfoil hat theories that potentially they forgot to add them in as like accessible rewards in these chests. And I mean, it would be hilarious and very Bandai of them to do that. I don't think that's the case. I just feel like the rates are just horrendous. Another thing that was also interesting about this treasure map is that some lucky players that landed on the very secret spot on the bonus map were able to secure golden tablets. Now, when I say golden tablets, I'm talking about Final Tap, Super Tandem, as well as the brand new Rush mechanic. Yes, you could actually find Rush Tandem or Rush golden tablets in this treasure map, which is just bonkers to think about, the fact that you were able to find these. Unfortunately, they were very, very difficult to get, and I think I only saw maybe 5 different screenshots of people securing these tablets. Not that many were found, but it just goes to show that it feels like Bandai are valuing these golden tablets more than these alternating pens. Or should I say the other way around? They're valuing the alternating pens more than these golden tablets, because it did seem like people had a much higher chance of landing on those tablets in comparison to these alternating pens. And, you know, I really hope that this is going to be moving forward, at least not in terms of the rates of these pens, but I hope that these alternating pens are available in future treasure maps. It would be very bizarre if they introduce these new, you know, basically artwork switching mechanic, but they only make them available during these very special treasure maps. So it is going to be strange moving forward. We do know that there is confirmation that the alternating pen will be available as one of the overall mission rewards from the upcoming Grand Voyage, but you have to reach 55 total points overall in Grand Voyage, likely, in order to reach that, and most players are not going to be able to reach that. Mostly that is going to be the endgame player that has most of their character box completely maxed out with a lot of varying Sugofest exclusive characters. It's going to be very interesting to see how they kind of move forward with this, as we know that, you know, only one character out of the entire anniversary had access to this mechanic, but we know for sure this is going to be a thing moving forward. There's going to be more characters that do this. And, you know, even if you did somehow get 5 alternating pens, I don't even think Luffy and Yamato are even worthwhile switching the artwork for, as, you know, they're going to be very good for this event period. But for Luffy and Yamato, I don't really see them being a character that sees a lot of play moving forward. Yes, they've got some really awesome mechanics for sure, but due to how annoying they are to use, I don't know if a lot of people are going to opt to really use them in content. But of course, they have the really interesting captain to remove the bind, as we discussed a little earlier. Their super switch is still very strong, and of course, if we're able to get their super switch, it makes their special even better. So yeah, they do have a lot going for them, and they are still, I mean, considered definitely to be one of the top legends in the game. But in terms of actual usability, there's a lot of other characters in the game that I would prefer to use over them as captains, right? I mean, even looking at the brand new Zoro that's just come out, I've had a lot of fun using him, but I can definitely see his shortcomings in the fact that he is very difficult to use. If you're not securing those Wano slots, and you don't get that buffed level 3 captain, then it really does make a pretty big difference. But then, you know, ultimately you look at the other anniversary characters coming out with Sanji, and Sanji's a lot of fun, and I do think that out of the 3 debuting Straw Hat Super Sugo characters during this anniversary period, in my opinion, I think Sanji's the best of them. I think that he synergizes well with a lot of the other characters that we already have access to, and while yes, he does have a lot of overlap with Legend Nami, you know, if you have Legend Nami at level 5, in a lot of situations, you're probably not going to opt to use Sanji, even though Sanji's able to secure some slots for you and give you chain boundary. But the fact that they both have these specials that give you some sort of removal of enemies' defensive effects, and they both give relatively good base attack, they both have chain boosting mechanics too, so it is what it is, right? But at the end of the day, I feel like Sanji's just a really nice character that works well in a lot of different teams, and even in teams where he's not even going to get a full boost, the fact that he can provide, you know, a really good chain boundary, also get a chain boosting effect as well, he can captain swap, and, you know, it just works really well. I'm a big fan of the Sanji character overall. But then, of course, we've got the other side of the anniversary too, where we had the, you know, Oden and Toki, which is a very bizarre release, and I'm not really a big fan of Oden and Toki at all, to be honest. I don't really see myself using them that much. But then you've got Queen and Alba, and I think they did a very good job with Queen and Alba, and I'm a big fan of those two characters. As of the recording of this video, this is the day before Alba's Sugofest release on part 3, so I haven't got a chance to pull and use that character yet, but on paper that character seems insanity, and judging from a lot of other people in the community having a chance to use that character at the moment, they're also having a lot of success with him, and a lot of people are very happy with how Alba is designed, so I'm a big fan of that unit. And overall, I honestly think that Alba might be the overall best anniversary character of all the characters released during this event period, which I think is a little crazy to say, considering that Alba is actually going to be a generic legend. You know, after the Sugofest ends and you no longer can pull for him, he should be available in legend tickets moving forward, along with Legend Queen. So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of works out. And I really like the fact that they've made these two characters, as well as Legend Jack, which is released before the anniversary period started, of course, and they all synergize perfectly with Versus Kaido, and I think this is exactly, you know, what we kind of needed, because Versus Kaido came out, and yeah, he was kind of cool, but he definitely needed some help, and I think that releasing these 3 units have definitely made a massive impact in terms of how you can use him in content, and just in terms of raw damage potential. You know, if you've got that int-driven Beast Pirates team, I think that does have the potential to be the best team in the game in terms of damage output, which is like absolutely wild to say, but I think it is true. If you're up against a Psy boss and you have everything going in your favor, I'm pretty sure they can output the most damage possible out of any team in the game, which is just bonkers, right? But anyways, just looking forward now to the end of this treasure map. This particular fight versus Marco was obviously quite a bit of an issue for a lot of players out there, and you know, we're at level 100 now, and even this mini boss Dogstorm started to get quite tanky, and I was contemplating whether I wanted to shift my strategy a little bit, potentially using Kaido special on the final stage to get his attack and orb boost, rather than just rely on Uta's support attack and orb boost. but at the end of the day, didn't really matter. We're still able to output a serious amount of damage, and of course, this is the intrusion, run through at level 100, so we have the increased 1.5 stats. When you don't have the increased stats, it definitely makes things a little bit more tighter, so, you have to play a bit more efficiently. But with the 1.5 stat increase, it does make a big difference, and a lot of these teams, they're able to kill the boss a lot more efficiently too. So we end up killing this boss by ended up using the 2 queen specials and the Saber special to give us a chain lock, just to make sure that our queen does do a lot of damage. And it's just crazy to see queen do like 30 million damage, and then his end of turn, resilience removing effect does also like another 30 million damage on top of it. So yeah, queen against this macro fight is definitely... it makes things a lot easier for sure, but you don't need to use queen. I know that some people were opting to use queen on their final boss team so that they get more points. And while that is definitely a strategy that you could adopt, I just felt like it was just better to just make the macro fight easier, just to make sure that the runs overall are a bit more easier to deal with. Because yes, you can go out of your way and make the fight a bit more annoying and, get it that way, but I feel like that's probably only worthwhile if you're only doing a very small amount of runs. If you're doing a whole stack of runs back to back to back for hours on end, having the teams that are very easy to use and get through the content quicker is probably better in the long run. But again, I'm not one of these people that makes it to top 10 in a treasure map, so I don't know what those players particularly do. But overall, I was really happy with what happened in this treasure map. The amount of rewards that we're able to achieve is good. The amount of blue tickets that you're able to acquire is also fantastic. So even if you use up a lot of your limit break materials, you can pick up even more of them from the treasure map exchange, which is great. But overall, it's going to be really sad when we go to next month's treasure map and we're not going to have access to as many rainbow chests, and we go back basically to how it was before. And it is kind of annoying that sometimes the treasure maps, they give us 20 million point rewards, but then it goes back down to 10 million. They should just keep it at 20 million. I don't know why they change it. But anyways, that is going to wrap it up for me. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for listening to my ramble about the 9th anniversary and the 9th anniversary treasure map. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
だったらこれ以上はなしだ。